on, everyone? Today I'm going to do a secondary pump rebuild for a Seadoo. I guess I'll do kind of like a tips, kind of a tech tips type thing. So, you know, so people don't have any questions, they can refer to this video if they got an oil pump rebuild. These things are pretty simple. There's really not much to them. 2 measurements you need to take. That's about it. I'll show you the parts you need. You can order one of these, which is a oil pump rebuild kit for a secondary oil pump. This one's from WSM. Comes with new screen, which I'll note, but these aftermarket screens sometimes don't really fit too well. When you put them in, they kind of bend, and then the gasket doesn't seal real well, so we'll see what it looks like when we get to it. Comes with a gasket. Okay, part number for that. Alright, comes with the plate for the outer. That's that. We're gonna have an oil pump outer ring, which is this. And we're gonna have the inner, which is this. So now this is my old one that came out. I don't know if you could tell. It has some nicks in it. It's really not that bad. I've seen like way worse, but we're gonna replace it because we're doing full motor rebuild, so I'd rather have all new in it just to be on the safe side. This is the inner ring. It looks like a tiny bit of something went through it at one point. Not bad at all though. I mean, like I said, I've seen way worse. And even the plate, you can see that it has some marks on it, but they're actually, you can barely feel them. Usually they're pretty deep if one of these is old. It literally looks like this is just kind of polished. So, but we're gonna replace it anyway, why not? So, you got 2 things to check when you are building one of these, measuring wise. So you're gonna put your outer ring in. Sometimes they're a little tight, you gotta get them straight. This is just for mock-up. Obviously we'll oil everything when it's final. We'll put our rotor in, inner rotor. So now what you're gonna wanna check is, you're gonna wanna check, let me show you. You're gonna wanna check basically your clearances. So your max clearance for this one is gonna be, it's 0.25 millimeter, okay? So that's your service limit. So basically, you want to check in between these and make sure this doesn't slide through. So here we're obviously in clearance, here we're in clearance, and here we're in clearance. So the only time they really want, basically you can put this anywhere, and you want to just make sure at any point where it is, it doesn't fit through, okay? So this one's good, this one's in clearance for that. Now we have one other thing to measure. And now what we're measuring is, we want to measure where this ring sits in relation to this outer, and your max service limit is going to be 0.1 millimeter. So what I use is dial caliper. Obviously, if you put this on the flat surface, it's going to read 0, or it should read 0. Okay, so we are at, to zero this out. Okay, now what we want to do is we want to see how much lower this is. Let me reset this. Okay, we are reset. Okay, it's a little easier to do it like this. Sit this on this surface, push it down. Okay, and that's at 0. Okay, so now what we're going to do is put part of the tool here. It's easier if I sit down and do this. You're basically just checking the depth off this ledge is really what you're doing. So we are at 0.06 millimeter and our max clearance is 0.1. So we're actually, we're within clearance, so we're good there. So basically that's all the clearances you got to check on this thing. As long as those two are good, you're in pretty good shape. I have had scenarios where some of these aftermarket rotors and outer rings from other companies were too thick, and what would happen was when you'd put this outer plate on, it would almost sandwich this outer ring and this wouldn't spin. So do keep an eye out. The WSM ones I've had pretty good luck with. I haven't really had any problems with them. I've had some problems with the Caltech ones, and I forget what other brands, but there's a lot of no-name brands and things out there that you got to check and make sure that everything's measured right, because last thing you want to do is put the pump together, not check to make sure it spins, and then put it in the motor, and then you're gonna have some major problems. So we'll open up. This is our outer ring. All right, that's, I mean, your cover. So basically, you're gonna put this cover on, and with this screwed down, you want to make sure this thing still spins. So this one's still free spins. Obviously, we'll put the bolts on it. Here's our filter I was talking about. We'll see how this fits, but most of the time I have found that they don't fit too well, and I honestly usually just put the factory one back in after I clean it. So we'll see. So yeah, you can see it's tight. And if you look, these things are horrible. If you look, I'll take this out. Actually, let me take this plate out, and it'll probably be easier for you to see. Okay, that goes there, that goes there. Okay, I don't know if you could see in here, but if you see, there's like a little, well, let me see if I have something to point it out with. You see in here, there's this groove. That's where the filter's supposed to sit. Now, when you put these aftermarket filters in, or WSM1 or whoever makes this thing, you can see that it bowed and it's not fitting in the groove. So, see if I can get in here a little better with the light so you can see it. Put that, it's kind of tight, and you pull it out. It's supposed to sit in that groove, and you can see it's already starting to bend. So I don't recommend using these. Definitely check that. I've had so many problems with these dumb things. So essentially I don't even use this. I mean, some guys shave them down, but I don't want to play games with that. Potentially get a piece of garbage in there. But here you have an OEM one that fits right in. Fits in perfect. Fits right in the groove, no issues. So I recommend using the OEM ones. All right, so on to the rebuild. This is pretty simple. What I like to do is I like to put some oil in a syringe, Seadoo oil in a syringe when I rebuild these things. So basically what I'm doing is I'm going to coat all the surface that this gear rides on. You want to coat the bearings or bushing surface per se. There is no bushing, it's just a machined housing. Obviously you also want to make sure that you clean all these parts. You don't want them dirty, so put them in a parts washer, brake clean them, whatever your options are, or however you clean things. That's the first section. Then I put a little bit of oil around this outer ring. Okay, lubricate it. Then I also like to put some on the inside of the ring where everything rides. Okay. I always put them with the dot down. I don't know, I've taken a lot of them apart and they always tend to have the dot down, but there's nothing actually that states which way it should go. I've measured everything, I've checked chamfered surfaces, they're all the same each side. So I really don't believe it matters, but I just continue to do this because this is how I've always done them. So we're gonna put this ring in. Okay, we're gonna wanna make sure it spins over good. No binds, that's good. And then we're gonna take our rotor. We're gonna put a little oil on this, where all the surfaces ride. And we are just gonna kinda go like this. Get the oil all over the gear. Then we're gonna drop this guy in. You're basically gonna line it up where it fits. There we go. Okay, so that's that. And then we are going to take the new plate, which is right here. This one has nothing on it, it's totally clean. We're going to put a little bit of oil on the surface where the shaft rides on and where the rings ride on. And I like to just get a little oil in there. just so you don't have any, you really don't want anything like dry starts, because if you get a dry start, it's a good way to cause wear. So make sure everything's lubricated. All right, so we got this all lined up now. Okay, now what we're gonna do is, there's 4 bolts, and the 4 bolts state they want you to use Loctite 243, and they want you to torque it to 80 inch-pounds, I believe. Yep, 80 inch-pounds. I don't know why, but the older books used to say 89. They dropped it down. So we're gonna put Loctite on all these bolts. You know, you don't need like a ton. You just want to put enough to kind of get around this area. Put that in there. Technically, with a blind hole like these, you're supposed to put the Loctite in the hole, not on the bolt. So we can do that. Get a little bit on, probably easier with this plate off. So put a little bit on each hole. You really just want to make sure you don't get this on the surface though, because I will wipe it off after we're done here. Okay. And we will use a lint-free cloth to get this off. Okay, make sure there's no Loctite on the surface, because you don't want Loctite in your gear, because that could cause some issues. Just make sure it's real clean. We will put oil back on this because I took it off. Okay. And mix that up for a little bit. Smear it around. Okay. I'll put this back on. Now we're going to put the bolt in. I still usually put a little bit on the bolts just to be on the safe side, just in case, but you really don't need to. I'd rather be safe than sorry, because if one of these oil pumps comes apart, it's generally not pretty, and I've seen plenty of them come apart, either for getting bearing material in them or anything like that. So it can get kind of ugly. Now, what you're gonna wanna do is, I usually get them in by hand first, or close, and then I will put torque wrench on them. These are E8 external torques. Okay. So basically what we're gonna do now is we're gonna torque them. We are at 80 inch-pounds, should be, yep. Now you're gonna just do a crisscross pattern on these. Start with this one. It really doesn't take much. It's pretty good. Crisscross to the other side. Crisscross here. Kind of like putting on a tire in a car. Good. I usually do this by hand, and then I just check them all. You can kind of hold 80 inch-pounds. It's not like you don't really need to put this in a vise. So, okay, so we got all that on. So now the next thing you really want to do is you want to make sure that it still spins and nothing's bound up. And we are still good. Everything's spinning good, free, it feels lubricated, no binding. And that's pretty much it for that. And then really last steps are, like I said, I'm going to reuse the Seadoo filter that I cleaned on the parts washer, because it actually fits in here nice. And then we're going to put our gasket on, which goes on like this. And you see this has a gasket part that actually rides up against the filter. And we're going to put all this in and get that in there. Okay. All right, so we got the gasket in, we got the old filter in that fits really well and actually seals well and doesn't sit below the surface. Still has gasket material here. We got oil in the pump, we got a new rotor shaft plate. Runs good. So pretty much that's it for the secondary pump rebuild. So pretty much that's it in a nutshell. I hope that helps some people. I think I'm gonna move on and do some kind of other little tech videos. Maybe do like some stuff like a to kind of look at the water pump and oil pump rebuild on one of these back housings. We got some motors to build. I'm gonna be doing this is just like a Seadoo 300 short block. So I'm not going to do a video on it because I would like to do a full video, but what's going to happen is I'm doing a video on a Seadoo 300 that is going to be like a performance skate. So, and that's going to be a soup to nuts build. So I guess check for the next videos. We'll do probably the other oil pumps, and I guess if you guys have any, I don't know, specific things you want me to show you how to rebuild or check or whatever, we'll do it. All right. Well, off to a new year for everybody, and Happy New Year.